From the 60th presidential inauguration, Donald Trump will soon be sworn in as the 47th president for his second term. The ceremony will be held indoors at the Capitol Rotunda due to severe cold weather and snow concerns. Here now is Republican political strategist Timothy Allen Simon with further analysis of the day's event. Timothy, good to have you with us. So,
thank you.
President-elect Trump has invited some foreign leaders to attend the inauguration. Which leaders are you anticipating being there, and what does this signal?
Well, a number of far-right party leaders we expect to be there, including the Prime Minister of Italy, President of Argentina, as well as I understand, the Vice President of China, representing Xi Jinping. I think it's important because it reflects that what we're witnessing in America is really a global trend, that being populist leaders pushing countries or policies further to the right. It's not an isolated incident in the United States, and I think that bodes well for some of incoming President Trump's messaging to the world, that this is the concerns regarding migration, the concerns regarding government regulations is a global process or movement, not just isolated to the United States.
Are you seeing this as really kind of a worldwide shift in policy and politics?
Depending upon the region, I would say yes. And I expect that President-elect Trump will be the most vocal participant in that movement.
President Trump has stated that he plans on rolling back many of President Biden's policies as he desires, even though here locally we're hearing about the potential of him canceling congestion pricing. What can we expect from him in his first 100 days of office? We keep asking everybody this, what the first 100 days are going to look like, but he's talked about, rolling back congestion pricing. He can't just put a rubber stamp and say, no, it's canceled. But what could he do to possibly reverse it?
Well, I think there are a number of executive orders that we will see, including the issues surrounding congestion pricing. Obviously, immigration is at the top of the list, including securing the southern border. I think it should clearly apply to the northern border as well, and seeing the friction between President Trump and now resigned Prime Minister Trudeau. Who knows what will happen with the northern border? He's expressed a desire to roll back many of outgoing President Biden's climate initiatives and infrastructure bills, the areas that I largely focus in. This will be a challenge because many of them were congressional. But on top of the congressional legislation itself, whether it be the Bipartisan Infrastructure Act or the IRA or the CHIPS, you also had certain enhancements that came by way of executive order, including what is called Justice 40, where 40% of the government resource allocations were going to disadvantaged and minority communities. President Trump has expressed an extreme disdain, as has his movement for diversity, equity, and inclusion. And it's already been stated by a number of his appointees that they will do their part to try to eliminate those programs from the federal government, something I think that will be a great challenge just based on the composition of our country.
And if I had to ask you what his biggest challenge would be, do you think that that is his biggest challenge as he navigates those first 100 days this time around?
No, I think his biggest challenge is going to be what we're not hearing anything about, and that's him lowering prices, lowering inflation. As you've noticed, that's taken a back seat to some of the more sexy or red meat to the base type of policies. I think that will be his challenge that will be questioned after the first 100 days.
All right, Timothy Allen Simon, thank you. We appreciate it. Republican political strategist. We do appreciate you joining us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Honoring the legacy